Nosferatu is a name that has echoed through the annals of cinematic history, a symbol of terror, mystery, and the macabre. The 2024 adaptation of this legendary tale is not just a film, it's a cultural moment, a bridge connecting the eerie silence of the past to the vibrant, complex storytelling of today. Directed by the visionary director's name, this rendition is both an homage to F.W. Murnau's 1922 classic and a bold reimagining of a story that continues to captivate audiences a century later. The plot retains the essence of the original, a vampire's obsessive pursuit of a young woman and the destruction that follows. Yet, the narrative is enriched with layers of modern complexity. The protagonist, character's name, is no longer a damsel in distress. Instead, she is imbued with agency, resilience, and depth, making her journey not just a tale of survival, but one of empowerment. Count Orlok, the monstrous figure at the story's heart, is redefined with a tragic backstory, presenting him not merely as a creature of the night, but as a symbol of the human condition's darker, more vulnerable facets. The themes explored in Nosferatu 2024 are as relevant today as they were a century ago. Mortality, forbidden desire, and the inevitable consequences of hubris are central to the narrative. Yet, the film also introduces modern concerns such as isolation, the decay of our environment, and the perils of unchecked ambition. These contemporary elements resonate deeply, creating a tale that feels timeless yet immediate. Visually, the film is a masterpiece of contrasts. The shadows and exaggerated angles of German expressionism are beautifully echoed, while modern cinematographic techniques bring a new layer of immersion. The muted color palette, interspersed with moments of vivid intensity, creates a sense of unease and tension. Light and shadow are used as narrative tools, with every frame feeling deliberate, every detail serving a purpose. The sound design deserves special mention. Unlike the silent original, this version uses sound not just as an accompaniment, but as a storytelling device. The haunting score, combined with moments of strategic silence, creates an auditory experience that lingers long after the credits roll. Every creak, whisper, and crescendo is crafted to draw the audience deeper into the film's unsettling atmosphere. The performances are nothing short of exceptional. Lead actor's name, as Count Orlok, delivers a portrayal that is both chilling and poignant. His physicality, his expressions, and even his silences convey a character who is as tragic as he is terrifying. Lead actress's name brings a powerful performance as the heroine, her journey resonating with a strength and authenticity that modern audiences will deeply appreciate. The supporting cast, including actor/actress names, adds richness and depth, making every character feel vital to the story's fabric. Nosferatu 2024 also stands out in its cultural relevance. In an age where horror often serves as a mirror to societal anxieties, this film uses the vampire mythos to comment on themes of exploitation, the human cost of immortality, and societal decay. By weaving these ideas into its narrative, the film invites viewers to reflect on their values and fears, proving that the vampire archetype remains as potent and thought-provoking as ever. This adaptation is a testament to the enduring power of storytelling. It respects its roots while daring to innovate, creating a film that is both familiar and refreshingly new. Nosferatu 2024 isn't just a horror film, it's a cinematic experience that challenges, inspires, and terrifies in equal measure. It's a film that lingers in the mind, a haunting reminder of the shadows that exist both outside and within us. The 2024 adaptation of Nosferatu does more than simply resurrect a classic tale. It breathes new life into the vampire mythos, making it accessible and compelling to contemporary audiences. At its heart, the film delves into the psychological and emotional core of its characters, moving beyond the simplistic good versus evil dynamic to explore deeper questions about identity, power, and humanity's capacity for both destruction and redemption. Count Orlok, as portrayed in this version, becomes a multidimensional figure, a tragic monster whose actions stem not from mere malice, but from a profound sense of loss and longing. This reimagining makes him more than a predator. It makes him a mirror to our own darkest impulses. His haunting presence is a reminder that the true horror lies not in the supernatural, but in the human condition. The protagonist, character's name, is equally compelling. Her evolution throughout the film is not just a survival arc, but a story of personal empowerment. Unlike the passive figures of older horror narratives, she is active, intelligent, and resourceful. Her decisions drive the story forward, creating a protagonist who is as captivating as she is relatable. This modern reinterpretation allows the audience to see her as not just a victim of Orlok's obsession, but as a force capable of confronting and overcoming the darkness. The cinematography in Nosferatu 2024 is strikingly immersive, capturing the essence of horror while employing the latest filmmaking techniques. The interplay of shadows, a hallmark of the original, is expanded upon with intricate lighting setups that emphasize the tension between light and dark, both visually and thematically. The use of CGI is restrained but effective, seamlessly blending with practical effects to enhance the Gothic atmosphere without overshadowing the human elements of the story. The set designs and locations play a crucial role in establishing the film's tone. From the crumbling castles and fog-shrouded forests to the claustrophobic interiors of modern urban spaces, every setting feels alive with dread and foreboding. These environments are not mere backdrops, but integral components of the narrative, reflecting the character's inner turmoil and amplifying the suspense. One of the most impressive aspects of Nosferatu 2024 is its ability to balance homage with originality. While it pays tribute to the stylistic elements and narrative beats of the 1922 classic, it also takes bold, creative risks. The addition of subplots that tackle contemporary issues, such as the ethics of scientific exploration, environmental exploitation, and the isolating effects of modern technology, grounds the film in the present, making it more relevant and resonant. The musical score, composed by composer's name, is another highlight. It blends haunting orchestral arrangements with modern experimental sounds, creating a soundscape that is as unsettling as it is beautiful. The music shifts seamlessly between moments of quiet tension and dramatic intensity, amplifying the emotional impact of every scene. As a cultural artifact, Nosferatu 2024 serves as a reminder of the enduring appeal of horror as a genre. It taps into universal fears of death, of the unknown, of losing control, while also reflecting the specific anxieties of our time. It is a film that respects its audience's intelligence, offering scares that are not just visceral but also intellectual and emotional. Nosferatu 2024 is a masterclass in storytelling and filmmaking, proving that even the most well-trodden tales can be reimagined in ways that feel fresh and meaningful. It stands as a testament to the power of cinema to terrify, captivate, and provoke thought, ensuring that this iconic story will continue to haunt audiences for generations to come. The performances in Nosferatu 2024 elevate the film to new heights, showcasing a cast that fully embraces the complexities of their roles. Lead actor's name delivers a haunting portrayal of Count Orlok, capturing both the monstrous and deeply tragic aspects of the character. Their nuanced performance allows the audience to simultaneously fear and sympathize with the vampire, a delicate balance that adds emotional depth to the horror. Lead actress's name shines as the film's central figure, bringing strength, vulnerability, and authenticity to her role. Her portrayal transforms the traditional damsel-in-distress archetype into a fully realized, multi-dimensional character. This evolution not only resonates with modern audiences, but also enriches the narrative, making her struggle and triumph profoundly impactful. The supporting cast contributes significantly to the film's atmosphere and storytelling. From actor's name's portrayal of the obsessed Renfield-like character to actor's name's chilling turn as Orlok's human accomplice, every performance feels intentional and layered. Each actor brings depth and believability to their role, ensuring that even secondary characters feel integral to the unfolding drama. The dialogue in Nosferatu 2024 is another strength, blending poetic elegance with naturalism. The screenplay, crafted by screenwriter's name, captures the Gothic essence of the original while infusing it with sharp, contemporary language. This careful balance allows the film to feel timeless, while still engaging modern sensibilities. Perhaps one of the film's most remarkable achievements is its pacing. Director's name expertly guides the narrative, allowing moments of quiet dread to build before unleashing bursts of intense terror. This measured approach heightens the suspense, ensuring that each scare feels earned rather than forced. The deliberate pacing also allows the story's emotional beats to resonate, giving the audience time to connect with the characters and their struggles. Nosferatu 2024 also stands out for its thoughtful use of symbolism. The recurring imagery of decay, both physical and moral, serves as a visual metaphor for the destructive nature of Orlok's curse. The film's exploration of mirrors and reflections further reinforces its themes of identity and duality, prompting viewers to consider the ways in which we confront, or avoid, our darker selves. The themes explored in Nosferatu 2024 extend beyond the realm of horror, touching on philosophical questions about humanity's pursuit of immortality, the cost of power, and the nature of love and obsession. These ideas are woven seamlessly into the narrative, enriching the story without overshadowing its primary function as a Gothic horror tale. As the credits roll, Nosferatu 2024 leaves its audience with a profound sense of unease, not just from its scares, but from the existential questions it raises. What does it mean to live, and at what cost does one seek to escape death? How do we reconcile our own capacity for darkness with our yearning for light? These are the questions that linger, making the film a haunting experience in more ways than one. In conclusion, Nosferatu 2024 is a triumph of modern horror, a film that respects its roots while carving out a bold new path. It is a reminder of why this story has endured for over a century, proving that its themes and characters remain as relevant today as they were in 1922. For fans of Gothic horror and newcomers alike, this adaptation is a must-see, a cinematic achievement that will undoubtedly cement its place in the annals of film history. Nosferatu 2024 not only honors the legacy of its predecessor but also expands the boundaries of what a reimagined classic can achieve. It is a film that invites multiple viewings, each revealing new layers of meaning and detail. The deliberate craftsmanship evident in every frame speaks to the dedication of its creators, ensuring that it will resonate with audiences long after the initial viewing. One of the most striking aspects of Nosferatu 2024 is its ability to evoke genuine fear without relying heavily on modern jump-scare tactics. Instead, the film employs psychological horror, an oppressive atmosphere, and a slow-burning sense of dread that creeps under the skin. This approach harkens back to the original, yet it feels refreshingly innovative in today's horror landscape, where spectacle often takes precedence over substance. The film also serves as a commentary on the current state of cinema, particularly within the horror genre. At a time when reboots and adaptations often prioritize nostalgia over originality, Nosferatu 2024 demonstrates that revisiting a classic can be an act of reinvention rather than repetition. By imbuing the story with modern relevance while staying true to its roots, the film sets a new standard for adaptations. Critically, Nosferatu 2024 has sparked discussions about the role of Gothic horror in contemporary culture. The genre, often seen as a reflection of societal fears, has evolved to address new anxieties such as technological dependency, environmental collapse, and the fragmentation of identity in the digital age. This adaptation taps into these themes subtly yet effectively, using the vampire mythos as a lens through which to examine humanity's enduring fears and desires. The film's technical achievements cannot be overstated. The cinematography, handled by cinematographer's name, is a masterclass in visual storytelling. Each shot feels meticulously composed, with lighting, framing, and movement working in harmony to evoke unease. The use of shadows, a hallmark of the original, is elevated to an art form here, creating a visual language that communicates terror without the need for explicit imagery. The score, composed by composer's name, is another highlight. It weaves a sonic tapestry that ranges from hauntingly minimalist to operatically grand, mirroring the emotional and narrative arcs of the story. The music not only enhances the atmosphere but also serves as a character in its own right, guiding the audience through the film's shifting moods. As a cultural artifact, Nosferatu 2024 serves as a reminder of the enduring appeal of horror as a genre. It taps into universal fears of death, of the unknown, of losing control, while also reflecting the specific anxieties of our time. It is a film that respects its audience's intelligence, offering scares that are not just visceral but also intellectual and emotional. Nosferatu 2024 is a masterclass in storytelling and filmmaking, proving that even the most well-trodden tales can be reimagined in ways that feel fresh and meaningful. It stands as a testament to the power of cinema to terrify, captivate, and provoke thought, ensuring that this iconic story will continue to haunt audiences for generations to come. The performances in Nosferatu 2024 elevate the film to new heights, showcasing a cast that fully embraces the complexities of their roles. Lead actor's name delivers a haunting portrayal of Count Orlok, capturing both the monstrous and deeply tragic aspects of the character. Their nuanced performance allows the audience to simultaneously fear and sympathize with the vampire, a delicate balance that adds emotional depth to the horror. Lead actress's name shines as the film's central figure, bringing strength, vulnerability, and authenticity to her role. Her portrayal transforms the traditional damsel-in-distress archetype into a fully realized, multidimensional character. This evolution not only resonates with modern audiences, but also enriches the narrative, making her struggle and triumph profoundly impactful. The supporting cast contributes significantly to the film's atmosphere and storytelling. From actor's name's portrayal of the obsessed Renfield-like character to actor's name's chilling turn as Orlok's human accomplice, every performance feels intentional and layered. Each actor brings depth and believability to their role, ensuring that even secondary characters feel integral to the unfolding drama. The dialogue in Nosferatu 2024 is another strength, blending poetic elegance with naturalism. The screenplay, crafted by screenwriter's name, captures the Gothic essence of the original while infusing it with sharp, contemporary language. This careful balance allows the film to feel timeless while still engaging modern sensibilities. Perhaps one of the film's most remarkable achievements is its pacing. Director's name expertly guides the narrative, allowing moments of quiet dread to build before unleashing bursts of intense terror. This measured approach heightens the suspense, ensuring that each scare feels earned rather than forced. The deliberate pacing also allows the story's emotional beats to resonate, giving the audience time to connect with the characters and their struggles. Nosferatu 2024 also stands out for its thoughtful use of symbolism. The recurring imagery of decay, both physical and moral, serves as a visual metaphor for the destructive nature of Orlok's curse. The film's exploration of mirrors and reflections further reinforces its themes of identity and duality, prompting viewers to consider the ways in which we confront, or avoid, our darker selves. The themes explored in Nosferatu 2024 extend beyond the realm of horror, touching on philosophical questions about humanity's pursuit of immortality, the cost of power, and the nature of love and obsession. These ideas are woven seamlessly into the narrative, enriching the story without overshadowing its primary function as a Gothic horror tale. As the credits roll, Nosferatu 2024 leaves its audience with a profound sense of unease, not just from its scares, but from the existential questions it raises. What does it mean to live, and at what cost does one seek to escape death? How do we reconcile our own capacity for darkness with our yearning for light? These are the questions that linger, making the film a haunting experience in more ways than one. In conclusion, Nosferatu 2024 is a triumph of modern horror, a film that respects its roots while carving out a bold new path. It is a reminder of why this story has endured for over a century, proving that its themes and characters remain as relevant today as they were in 1922. For fans of Gothic horror and newcomers alike, this adaptation is a must-see, a cinematic achievement that will undoubtedly cement its place in the annals of film history. Nosferatu 2024 not only honors the legacy of its predecessor but also expands the boundaries of what a reimagined classic can achieve. It is a film that invites multiple viewings, each revealing new layers of meaning and detail. The deliberate craftsmanship evident in every frame speaks to the dedication of its creators, ensuring that it will resonate with audiences long after the initial viewing. One of the most striking aspects of Nosferatu 2024 is its ability to evoke genuine fear without relying heavily on modern jump-scare tactics. Instead, the film employs psychological horror, an oppressive atmosphere, and a slow-burning sense of dread that creeps under the skin. This approach harkens back to the original, yet it feels refreshingly innovative in today's horror landscape, where spectacle often takes precedence over substance. The film also serves as a commentary on the current state of cinema, particularly within the horror genre. At a time when reboots and adaptations often prioritize nostalgia over originality, Nosferatu 2024 demonstrates that revisiting a classic can be an act of reinvention rather than repetition. By imbuing the story with modern relevance while staying true to its roots, the film sets a new standard for adaptations. Critically, Nosferatu 2024 has sparked discussions about the role of Gothic horror in contemporary culture. The genre, often seen as a reflection of societal fears, has evolved to address new anxieties such as technological dependency, environmental collapse, and the fragmentation of identity in the digital age. This adaptation taps into these themes subtly yet effectively, using the vampire mythos as a lens through which to examine humanity's enduring fears and desires. The film's technical achievements cannot be overstated. The cinematography, handled by cinematographer's name, is a masterclass in visual storytelling. Each shot feels meticulously composed, with lighting, framing, and movement working in harmony to evoke unease. The use of shadows, a hallmark of the original, is elevated to an art form here, creating a visual language that communicates terror without the need for explicit imagery. The score, composed by composer's name, is another highlight. It weaves a sonic tapestry that ranges from hauntingly minimalist to operatically grand, mirroring the emotional and narrative arcs of the story. The music not only enhances the atmosphere but also serves as a character in its own right, guiding the audience through the film's shifting moods. Nosferatu 2024's innovative approach to horror cinema is not just confined to its narrative and visual elements, but also extends to its exploration of the genre's deeper, psychological aspects. By amplifying the emotional stakes and ensuring that the horrors experienced by the characters are both visceral and intellectual, the film invites viewers to engage with the darker, more unsettling sides of their own consciousness. The horror is not merely presented as a series of frightful images, but as an emotional journey that forces us to question our own sense of morality, empathy, and existential dread. It underscores the idea that what we fear the most is often not just the monster on the screen, but what lurks within ourselves. The complexity of Nosferatu 2024's world is reflected in its multifaceted approach to horror. Where many films rely on jump scares and immediate shocks, this film opts for a slower, more calculated buildup of tension, allowing fear to creep in gradually. Every scene, every frame, is carefully constructed to keep the audience on edge. The unsettling, almost oppressive atmosphere permeates the film, drawing viewers into a world where nothing is quite as it seems, and the line between reality and nightmare begins to blur. This approach to horror, which builds from subtle unease to gut-wrenching terror, sets Nosferatu 2024 apart from many contemporary horror films that often focus on immediate, quick thrills. Additionally, the film's narrative structure is cleverly designed to mirror the disorienting and cyclical nature of horror itself. The story unfolds in a way that challenges expectations, often looping back on itself in a manner that leaves the viewer unsure of what is real and what is not. This sense of uncertainty is intentional, reflecting the perpetual fear that exists in the characters' lives and, by extension, in the audience's own mind. By not offering easy resolutions, the film emphasizes the idea that fear, much like the vampire itself, is an enduring force, never truly vanquished, but always lurking just out of sight, ready to resurface. One of the film's most profound contributions to the horror genre is its examination of the human condition through the lens of Gothic horror. While many horror stories center on external threats, Nosferatu 2024 digs deeper into the psychological and emotional aspects of its characters. It emphasizes the idea that the true horror is not merely in the monster, but in the human capacity for suffering, loss, and the inevitable approach of death. The characters are not just victims of a supernatural evil, but individuals confronting the harsh realities of their own lives, loneliness, isolation, and the inexorable pull of their own desires. By doing this, the film becomes an exploration of what it means to be human, with all the vulnerability, weakness, and darkness that entails. The character of Count Orlok serves as a perfect embodiment of this theme. His monstrous, terrifying form is not simply a manifestation of evil but a symbol of the larger existential questions that plague humanity. His hunger for blood is a metaphor for the insatiable human desires that often lead to destruction, whether those desires be for power, love, or meaning in life. But it is also a reminder of the fragility of life itself, how easily the thin veil between life and death can be torn asunder, how our own mortality can be made real by forces both seen and unseen. The film's portrayal of Orlok as a tragic figure adds complexity to the traditional vampire archetype, asking the audience to consider whether he is a creature of pure evil or a victim of his own monstrous nature. The evolution of the film's human characters further elevates the story, making their struggles feel grounded in reality. The decisions they make, driven by their own fears and moral quandaries, add depth to the story and make their fates feel more significant. Their emotional journeys are intertwined with the film's larger thematic concerns, and by focusing on their internal conflicts, the film allows the audience to see the monster through their eyes. This gives the terror a more personal quality, as we come to understand how the fear of the supernatural is intertwined with the fear of the self. Nosferatu 2024 also stands as a reminder of the timeless nature of classic horror stories. Its ability to remain relevant in a modern context speaks to the enduring power of Gothic horror as a genre that speaks to deep, universal fears. While the world has changed drastically since the original Nosferatu was released, the core elements of the story remain as relevant as ever. In a world that often seems more chaotic and unpredictable, the film taps into fears that transcend time and culture. It speaks to the anxiety and disorientation that many people feel in today's rapidly changing world, where the line between the known and the unknown, the familiar and the strange, is constantly shifting. In its closing moments, Nosferatu 2024 does not offer closure in the traditional sense. Instead, it leaves the audience with lingering questions, encouraging them to reflect on the film's themes long after the credits have rolled. The final image of the film, like the rest of the story, lingers in the mind, a haunting reminder of the fear and beauty that the Gothic genre so effectively evokes. The film's ability to make the audience contemplate the nature of horror itself and the ways in which it is inextricably linked to the human experience is one of its greatest achievements. Ultimately, Nosferatu 2024 will be remembered as a bold and visionary work of horror cinema, one that redefines what a classic can become. It is not just a retelling of a well-known story, but a reinvention that respects its roots while pushing the boundaries of what horror can express. By blending modern storytelling techniques, philosophical depth, and emotional resonance, Nosferatu 2024 proves that horror, when done right, can be a powerful tool for examining the darkest corners of the human soul. It is a masterpiece that will continue to haunt, challenge, and inspire audiences for generations to come. Nosferatu 2024's legacy, however, is not confined solely to the screen. It represents a new paradigm in how horror films can be made, one that blurs the lines between genre and art. It has the potential to inspire a shift in how filmmakers approach the Gothic genre, challenging them to move beyond the familiar tropes and superficial thrills. In doing so, it breathes new life into a genre that, in many ways, has been overshadowed by slasher films and supernatural thrillers. Nosferatu 2024 is a reminder that horror, at its best, is not just about evoking fear, but about exploring profound existential questions, tackling uncomfortable truths, and reflecting on the human experience in all its complexity. Moreover, the film's impact is likely to extend beyond cinema, influencing other art forms and sparking a resurgence of Gothic horror in literature, theater, and even music. The way it intertwines visual storytelling with thematic depth will inspire artists across disciplines to create works that challenge the audience to engage not only with the art itself, but with the questions and emotions it evokes. In a world increasingly saturated with easily digestible content, Nosferatu 2024's refusal to offer simple answers or neatly wrapped conclusions stands as a bold counterpoint to the conventional, instant gratification narrative style. It challenges audiences to take their time with the story, to think about its meaning, and to feel its unsettling presence long after they have left the theater. The film also opens up a dialogue about the enduring appeal of classic stories in contemporary culture. What is it about tales like Nosferatu that continue to captivate us, even as society evolves? Perhaps it is their timeless exploration of the human condition, their ability to tap into the deepest fears and desires that unite us all, regardless of time or place. Nosferatu 2024 reinvents this connection for a new generation, proving that these old stories still have relevance, even as they are reimagined for modern sensibilities. In terms of its direction and execution, the film's success also lies in its ability to maintain a sense of reverence for the original while incorporating modern sensibilities. Filmmakers have taken the essence of F.W. Murnau's 1922 masterpiece and evolved it into something that feels fresh and vital without losing the soul of what made the original so compelling. This delicate balance between honoring the past and forging a new path forward is what elevates Nosferatu 2024 to the level of cinematic artistry, setting a precedent for future adaptations of classic tales. From a technical standpoint, the film's craftsmanship is impeccable. Cinematography that captures the eerie, unsettling beauty of the Gothic world is paired with a hauntingly atmospheric score that heightens the emotional impact of every scene. The sound design is equally important, with subtle auditory cues enhancing the tension and drawing the audience further into the narrative's grip. These elements work in harmony to create an immersive experience that engages all the senses, making the viewer feel as though they are a part of this twisted, dark world. The performances are equally deserving of praise, particularly the portrayal of Count Orlok. Rather than simply relying on the traditional image of a vampire as a monstrous and unstoppable force, Nosferatu 2024's Orlok is both menacing and tragic, vulnerable and threatening. This layered portrayal adds depth to the character, making him more than just a figure of fear. His presence on screen demands attention, not only because of his terrifying visage, but because of the strange empathy he evokes in the audience. The human characters also rise to the occasion, with their performances grounding the story in genuine emotional stakes. Their complex motivations and inner turmoil bring a depth to the narrative that elevates it beyond a simple tale of horror. Nosferatu 2024's conclusion, though open-ended, serves to reinforce the central theme of cyclical fear. The film suggests that the struggle against darkness, whether it be internal or external, is endless. It is a reminder that horror, much like life itself, does not offer easy answers. Rather, it challenges us to confront our own vulnerabilities and existential fears, to acknowledge the darkness within us, and to face it head-on. The unresolved ending leaves the viewer with a sense of ambiguity, not as a flaw but as a powerful reflection of the story's central message. Fear is never fully vanquished, and neither is our understanding of the world around us. In the end, Nosferatu 2024 is a work of cinematic excellence, a film that redefines what horror can achieve. It transcends the genre's traditional boundaries by blending deep emotional exploration with atmospheric terror, philosophical inquiry with unsettling imagery. It offers a rare cinematic experience that does not simply entertain, but invites the viewer to reflect, question, and feel. Nosferatu 2024 proves that horror, when executed with artistry and vision, can be not just a genre but a profound reflection on the human condition. For audiences seeking more than just thrills, for those who are willing to engage with the darker, more intellectual side of horror, Nosferatu 2024 will undoubtedly be a film that lingers long after the credits have rolled, a modern masterpiece that reaffirms the genre's power to terrify, enlighten, and inspire. It is a testament to the enduring power of great stories and the filmmakers who have the vision to bring them to life in a way that is both new and timeless. Nosferatu 2024 also marks a pivotal moment in the ongoing dialogue between the past and present in the realm of horror cinema. In a time when many franchises lean heavily on nostalgia, this film manages to strike a rare balance between honoring its roots and pushing the boundaries of what the genre can achieve. It does not merely rely on the legacy of the original Nosferatu. Instead, it breathes new life into it, challenging the conventions of contemporary horror storytelling. The result is a cinematic experience that feels both deeply rooted in history and boldly forward-thinking, a rare achievement that will resonate with audiences across generations. The film's exploration of societal themes also adds layers of complexity that extend beyond the Gothic horror genre. In today's climate, where issues of alienation, the breakdown of societal norms, and the questioning of reality are ever present, Nosferatu 2024 speaks to a collective sense of unease. Count Orlok's monstrous existence, his isolation, and his attempts to connect with others evoke a deep sense of tragedy, and his eerie detachment reflects our own anxieties about the increasing disconnection within modern society. The portrayal of a world where the monstrous and the human are indistinguishable mirrors the fractured, often contradictory nature of contemporary life. The world-building in Nosferatu 2024 is another remarkable feat. The film's setting, although steeped in Gothic tradition, feels strikingly relevant to the modern world. Its fog-drenched streets, decaying architecture, and oppressive atmosphere serve as metaphors for the internal decay and disintegration experienced by the characters. The use of urban landscapes and decaying environments isn't just a visual choice. It's a deliberate reflection of the film's themes of isolation, fear, and the inescapability of one's personal demons. This careful attention to the world within which the story unfolds further immerses the audience in a narrative that is as much psychological as it is supernatural. Another standout feature of Nosferatu 2024 is its ability to incorporate cutting-edge special effects without sacrificing the tactile, immersive nature of its world. The filmmakers have opted for a restrained approach to CGI, using it to subtly enhance the eerie atmosphere rather than overwhelming the audience with spectacle. This decision ensures that the film remains grounded in the visceral, physical world while still tapping into the limitless possibilities of modern technology. The use of shadows, lighting, and the manipulation of space becomes a character in itself, contributing to the film's unrelenting tension and sense of dread. This delicate balance between old-world sensibilities and contemporary filmmaking techniques is what makes Nosferatu 2024 such a rare gem in the world of reboots. While many modern reimaginings of classic tales risk losing the essence of what made them iconic, this version of Nosferatu manages to keep its soul intact while evolving into something entirely new. It stands as a testament to the filmmakers' respect for the original material and their willingness to push the boundaries of the genre. Nosferatu 2024's influence, however, is likely to stretch far beyond the realm of cinema. As it continues to inspire discussion and debate, its impact will be felt in the broader cultural landscape. The film offers more than just a terrifying story. It invites reflection on the nature of fear, the complexities of evil, and the human condition itself. In a world where horror films often lean into cheap thrills and predictable tropes, Nosferatu 2024 is a bold reminder that true horror comes not from what we see, but from what we feel, what we fear, and what we cannot fully understand. In the coming years, Nosferatu 2024 will likely be seen as a landmark in the evolution of horror cinema, a film that not only revitalized a classic, but also reshaped the genre for a new era. It will be studied, analyzed, and admired by film scholars, horror aficionados, and casual viewers alike. It will stand as a shining example of how a genre once thought to be in decline can find new life through innovation, artistry, and a deep respect for the human experience. Ultimately, Nosferatu 2024 will be remembered not just for its horror, but for its ability to resonate on a deeper, more philosophical level. It is a film that challenges its audience to confront their own fears and uncertainties, and in doing so, it becomes more than just a story. It becomes an experience that lingers, like the shadow of Count Orlok himself, long after the lights have gone down. Nosferatu 2024's influence will not be limited to film alone. It will undoubtedly leave an indelible mark on the broader cultural and artistic landscape. The film's themes, alienation, the fear of the unknown, and the existential struggle between light and dark, are universal, resonating far beyond the confines of the horror genre. As such, its impact will likely inspire conversations in fields ranging from literature and philosophy to visual art and music. In the realm of literature, the reimagining of Nosferatu may inspire writers to return to the Gothic tradition, yet with a contemporary twist. The way Nosferatu 2024 uses the vampire mythos not only to evoke terror, but also to reflect on the human condition could prompt a resurgence of intellectual horror fiction, where horror is not merely a backdrop, but a vehicle for profound thematic exploration. Writers may draw from the film's exploration of the complex relationships between characters, the blurring of good and evil, and the cyclical nature of fear. The film's emphasis on the psychological and existential aspects of horror could shape how horror literature is written in the years to come, moving away from formulaic tropes and embracing a more nuanced, introspective approach to the genre. In the visual arts, the film's Gothic aesthetics could inspire painters, sculptors, and digital artists to explore themes of decay, isolation, and the sublime in their work. Nosferatu 2024's stunning imagery, its oppressive, fog-laden streets, towering spires, and haunting landscapes would resonate with visual artists drawn to the darker corners of the human psyche. The film's ability to create a world that feels both timeless and contemporary could serve as a muse for those working within the Gothic and Surrealist movements, as well as those interested in combining traditional art forms with modern techniques. Even in music, the influence of Nosferatu 2024 can be felt. The film's score, with its haunting melodies and unsettling atmospherics, could inspire composers and musicians to experiment with sound design in new ways. The fusion of classical instrumentation with modern electronic elements, the use of silence and space to build tension, and the way music is used to reflect the characters' emotional states could prompt a reevaluation of how sound contributes to the overall impact of a film. This kind of musical experimentation might even extend beyond film, influencing live performances, album productions, and the work of artists who seek to evoke mood, atmosphere, and emotional depth in their work. Perhaps one of the most significant ways Nosferatu 2024 will continue to resonate is through its broader cultural relevance. In an age where uncertainty is rampant and existential questions loom larger than ever, the film taps into a collective sense of unease. It reflects the fears of a world in which boundaries are constantly shifting, where technology and society are evolving at a pace too fast for many to keep up. The film's exploration of isolation, the way its characters struggle to find connection in a fragmented, dehumanized world, feels particularly timely. In a time of rapid technological advancement and social disconnection, Nosferatu 2024's portrayal of a world on the brink of collapse resonates with the anxieties of today's global society. The film's exploration of the unknown, too, will likely spark reflection on the nature of fear itself. What makes us afraid of the dark? What do we fear in the modern world? And why? Nosferatu 2024 doesn't provide easy answers, but rather forces its audience to confront their own fears and uncertainties. The metaphor of the vampire as an externalization of our inner darkness, the fear we cannot control, the parts of ourselves we cannot face, is powerful. The film encourages viewers to look inward, to confront their own fears, and to examine what lurks beneath the surface of their everyday lives. Additionally, the film's psychological depth and philosophical themes create an invitation for audiences to re-examine the nature of good and evil. Nosferatu 2024 challenges viewers to think about what makes a monster, and whether monsters are born from evil or from circumstance. In giving Count Orlok a tragic backstory, the film humanizes him without excusing his monstrous behavior, reminding viewers that evil is often a product of its environment, of society's failures, and of the inner turmoil that defines the human condition. This moral ambiguity, rather than being a flaw, serves to enrich the narrative and invites deeper reflection on the nature of justice, morality, and empathy. In a cinematic landscape where so many films seem focused on fleeting thrills or superficial scares, Nosferatu 2024's complexity and intellectual rigor make it an outlier, a work of art that demands engagement. It rewards repeated viewings, offering new insights and interpretations with each passing experience. Its layers of meaning, its blending of Gothic horror with modern sensibilities, and its fearless exploration of human fears ensure that it will be remembered not only as a film but as a cultural touchstone. As the years go by, Nosferatu 2024 may come to be regarded as one of the definitive works of modern horror. It's a film that transcends its genre, offering not only a fresh take on a beloved classic but also a reflection of the world we live in today. It's a work that doesn't just terrify, it challenges, provokes, and makes us think. As such, it will continue to resonate, inspiring future generations of filmmakers, artists, and thinkers to create works that push the boundaries of what horror can be, what it can say, and how it can make us feel. In the end, Nosferatu 2024 is a masterclass in the power of horror to reflect, disturb, and ultimately enlighten. It reminds us that fear, at its most profound, is not just something to be experienced, it's something to be understood, examined, and, perhaps, even embraced. Nosferatu 2024 not only redefines the genre of Gothic horror, but also exemplifies how modern cinema can pay homage to the past while still feeling profoundly contemporary. The film's success lies in its ability to balance reverence for its source material with a bold vision that explores relevant societal and existential themes. It captures the essence of what makes horror so compelling, the ability to hold a mirror to society, to expose our deepest fears, and to confront us with our own vulnerabilities. In many ways, Nosferatu 2024 serves as a commentary on the nature of adaptation itself. In an era of reboots and remakes, it's easy for films to fall into the trap of simply retreading old ground, rehashing familiar tropes and characters without adding anything of value. Nosferatu 2024, however, takes a more thoughtful approach, breathing new life into a well-worn tale by engaging with the themes and questions that are most pressing in today's world. Rather than simply recreating the original, it reinterprets it, offering a fresh perspective that feels vital and necessary. This is the key to its success. It doesn't just celebrate the legacy of Nosferatu, it interrogates it, challenges it, and ultimately redefines it. The performances, too, deserve special mention. The actors bring a depth and nuance to their roles that elevates the material beyond the typical trappings of a horror film. The central performances, in particular, shine through in their ability to convey both the emotional complexity and the fear that lies at the heart of their characters. Count Orlok, as portrayed in Nosferatu 2024, is not merely a villain but a tragic figure, a creature caught in a web of his own making, driven by forces that go beyond simple evil. This nuanced portrayal invites empathy, even as it maintains the character's terrifying presence. On the other side of the equation, the human characters are more than just passive victims of Orlok's terror. They are fully realized individuals with their own desires, moral struggles, and emotional arcs. Their journey is not just about survival, but about confronting their own personal demons and navigating the moral complexities of the world around them. This gives the film an emotional weight that many horror films often lack, creating a sense of investment in the characters' fates that makes the horror more potent and impactful. The cinematography is another standout feature. The filmmakers utilize both classical techniques, such as shadow play and the iconic use of light and dark, as well as modern camera movements and angles to create an atmosphere that feels both timeless and urgent. The tension in Nosferatu 2024 is built not just through what is seen but also through what is left unseen, a hallmark of great horror. The careful manipulation of shadows, reflections, and mirrors adds to the psychological horror, making the audience feel as though they too are trapped in Orlok's world, unable to escape his gaze. This sense of entrapment is further enhanced by the film's sound design, which is used sparingly but effectively to amplify the sense of dread. The haunting score weaves throughout the film, creating an emotional backdrop that heightens the tension at every turn. There are moments where silence is just as unsettling as the music itself, as the absence of sound serves to amplify the feeling of isolation and impending doom. Every creak, every whisper, every unsettling note feels deliberate, contributing to the film's immersive and visceral atmosphere. Perhaps one of the most daring aspects of Nosferatu 2024 is its handling of the film's central horror, the vampire myth. While Orlok remains a terrifying figure, his vampirism is presented as a symptom of a deeper, more existential condition. His monstrousness is not just biological but metaphysical, representing the loss of humanity, the corruption of the soul, and the endless cycle of isolation. This shift in focus from physical horror to psychological and existential horror allows the film to transcend the traditional vampire narrative, exploring what it means to be human and what it means to lose one's humanity in the face of overwhelming darkness. At its core, Nosferatu 2024 is a meditation on the fragility of the human experience. It taps into the fear of losing control, of being consumed by forces greater than ourselves, whether those forces are external, like Orlok, or internal, like the demons we struggle to confront. The film's exploration of mortality, the passage of time, and the inevitability of death gives it an emotional resonance that elevates it beyond the realm of mere genre filmmaking. It becomes a story about what it means to be alive, and what it means to be afraid of what comes after. As the film draws to a close, the lingering sense of dread that is built throughout the narrative remains, leaving the audience with more questions than answers. Nosferatu 2024 does not offer simple resolutions. Instead, it asks us to sit with the discomfort, to reflect on the questions it raises about the human condition, fear, and the nature of evil. In doing so, it ensures that the impact of the film is not fleeting, but enduring. It is a film that invites analysis, conversation, and reflection long after the credits have rolled. In conclusion, Nosferatu 2024 is not just a triumph of horror filmmaking, it is a reimagining of a classic that redefines the genre for a new generation. It balances terror and emotional depth, psychological complexity and visceral thrills, creating a cinematic experience that is both thought-provoking and unsettling. By breathing new life into a story that has endured for a century, the filmmakers have created a timeless piece of art that is as relevant today as it was when it was first conceived. Nosferatu 2024 is a film that will continue to be celebrated and dissected for years to come, a work that challenges its audience, provokes deep thought, and, above all, reminds us of the eternal power of great horror to speak to the human experience. Nosferatu 2024 stands as a testament to the power of reimagining classic works for the modern age. It takes a story that has been told countless times and transforms it into something that feels fresh and essential, resonating with contemporary anxieties, societal issues, and the universal human experience. The filmmakers have succeeded in creating a narrative that is both timeless and timely, striking a delicate balance between honoring the source material and expanding upon its themes and characters. One of the most fascinating aspects of Nosferatu 2024 is its ability to transcend the conventional boundaries of the horror genre. It is, at its heart, a horror film, but it also touches on elements of drama, philosophy, and even tragedy. The film delves into the psychological aspects of fear, exploring how the human mind copes with terror, loss, and the unknown. It's not just about the fear of monsters, but about the fear that lies within ourselves, the fear of the dark corners of the mind, the fear of confronting our own mortality, and the fear of what we are capable of when pushed to the brink. This intellectual depth is mirrored in the film's approach to the Gothic aesthetic. Nosferatu 2024 does not simply recreate the look of a Gothic horror story, it reinvents it. The film's visuals are haunting and beautiful in equal measure, drawing on classic Gothic imagery, but using modern filmmaking techniques to amplify the sense of otherworldliness. The decaying architecture, the shadowy figures, the stark contrasts between light and darkness, all of these elements serve to create an atmosphere that is as eerie as it is mesmerizing. The production design, along with the lighting and camera work, creates a world that feels both dreamlike and nightmarish, a place where the boundaries between reality and nightmare are blurred. Another key achievement of Nosferatu 2024 is its handling of themes such as isolation and existential dread. The film taps into the pervasive sense of alienation that defines modern life, using Orlok's monstrous presence as a metaphor for the isolation that many people feel in the face of a rapidly changing world. The vampire, in this version, is not just a creature of the night, but a symbol of the alienation that comes with living in a society that often feels disconnected and indifferent. This adds a layer of depth to the film, making it more than just a story about a villain and his victims. It becomes a reflection on the nature of loneliness, the search for meaning, and the ways in which we cope with an ever-changing world. The film's conclusion, though haunting and unsettling, is also a triumph of thematic storytelling. Rather than wrapping up neatly with a clear resolution, Nosferatu 2024 leaves its audience with a sense of ambiguity, forcing them to confront the larger questions that the film raises. The final moments linger in the mind, urging viewers to reflect on what they have seen and experienced, and perhaps even to question their own assumptions about fear, evil, and the human condition. It is a film that does not simply entertain. It challenges, provokes, and invites contemplation long after the screen goes dark. Ultimately, Nosferatu 2024 is a remarkable achievement in the art of filmmaking. It is a film that respects its origins while boldly pushing the boundaries of what horror can be. It is a haunting, thought-provoking exploration of the human psyche, and it redefines the potential of horror as a medium for artistic expression. The film's ability to blend modern sensibilities with classic horror tropes ensures its place in the pantheon of great films, not just in the horror genre, but in cinema as a whole. Nosferatu 2024 is a cinematic masterpiece that will be remembered and celebrated for years to come, a timeless work that continues the legacy of its predecessors while setting new standards for what horror can achieve. Nosferatu 2024 continues to resonate as a landmark achievement in horror cinema, proving that great stories, especially those rooted in timeless themes, are far from bound by their origins. This film stands as an exemplary model of how a reimagined classic can push the boundaries of both genre and narrative, blending past influences with innovative techniques to create a powerful, immersive experience. The film's depth is further underscored by its exploration of human frailty and the fragility of our relationships. Through the lens of horror, Nosferatu 2024 brings into sharp focus how fear shapes not just our behavior, but our understanding of others. The relationships between the characters evolve throughout the film, revealing how external forces, such as the presence of Count Orlok, serve as catalysts for deeper introspection and personal revelation. Each character, particularly the central human figures, is forced to confront their own desires, vulnerabilities, and fears in the face of an overwhelming existential threat. This gives the film a humanistic dimension that makes its horrors not just terrifying but profoundly tragic. The use of sound, or the selective absence of it, plays a pivotal role in enhancing the film's atmosphere. In many scenes, the stillness and silence become their own form of horror, heightening the tension in ways that conventional jump scares cannot. The lack of noise creates an eerie vacuum that pulls the viewer in, amplifying the sense of isolation felt by the characters. On the rare occasions when sound does break the silence, it's jarring and unsettling, much like a sudden intrusion into a peaceful yet disturbed mind. The film's score, while haunting, is not just an accompaniment to the visuals, it is an integral part of the storytelling, shaping the emotional and psychological landscape of the narrative. Nosferatu 2024 also benefits from its willingness to embrace ambiguity. In contrast to films that rush toward a neatly tied-up conclusion, the ambiguity of the ending invites viewers to draw their own conclusions, leaving them with lingering questions that stay with them long after the credits have rolled. It's a thoughtful approach that recognizes the complexity of human nature and the unresolved tensions that exist within it. It challenges audiences to grapple with their understanding of good and evil, life and death, and the vast, unknowable forces that lie beyond human comprehension. The way Nosferatu 2024 engages with the broader themes of existentialism and the passage of time gives the film a philosophical weight that sets it apart from typical horror fare. At its core, The story is about the inescapable truth of human mortality and the cycles of life and death that we must all confront. Count Orlok, as a vampire, represents an eternal existence that is simultaneously a curse, offering him immortality but trapping him in a cycle of isolation and despair. In contrast, the human characters, though fraught with their own fears, are faced with the ultimate existential challenge. They must confront death, and in doing so, they must decide what kind of life they want to live. The tension between life and death, between the fleeting and the eternal, becomes the film's central axis, making it not just a horror film but a meditation on what it means to live and to die. The visual and thematic richness of Nosferatu 2024 also speaks to the broader trends in contemporary cinema, where genre films, particularly horror, are increasingly being used as vehicles for social commentary and philosophical exploration. This is a far cry from the traditional, more straightforward horror narratives, where monsters were simply embodiments of evil or fear. In Nosferatu 2024, the monsters, both human and supernatural, serve as reflections of the darker aspects of the human psyche and the societal forces that shape us. The film takes full advantage of the genre's ability to engage with deep, unsettling truths about existence, and it does so in a way that is thoughtful, sophisticated, and, above all, emotionally resonant. As a reimagining of a classic, Nosferatu 2024 succeeds in ways that many modern adaptations often fail to achieve. It doesn't simply replicate the past, nor does it seek to overshadow it with flashy effects or superficial changes. Instead, it acknowledges the legacy of the original Nosferatu while pushing the narrative forward, adding new layers of meaning and complexity. By grounding its supernatural horror in the very real emotional struggles of its characters, the film ensures that its terror is not just visual, but deeply psychological and existential. In conclusion, Nosferatu 2024 is more than a film, it is an experience. It challenges the conventions of horror and redefines what is possible within the genre. Its intellectual depth, its emotional complexity, and its philosophical underpinnings elevate it far beyond typical genre fare, ensuring that it will be remembered not only as a standout in horror cinema, but as a work of art that resonates deeply with audiences on multiple levels. Nosferatu 2024 is a masterful reimagining that sets a new standard for future adaptations and reboots, proving that the classics still have much to teach us, especially when they are given the room to evolve and grow. Nosferatu 2024 serves as a brilliant example of how horror can be a vessel for deep artistic expression, seamlessly blending terror with philosophical introspection. It challenges both the genre's conventions and its audience's expectations, offering something far more profound than a typical retelling of a classic. By drawing on the original's Gothic elements, yet updating them for a modern sensibility, the film establishes itself as a reimagining that is neither a mere homage nor a superficial update. It is a thoughtful reinvention that speaks to contemporary fears and existential questions. A particularly impressive aspect of the film is its exploration of power dynamics, both between the human characters and Count Orlok, and within the larger societal structure. Orlok, as a vampire, can be seen as a symbol of unchecked power, an entity that exists outside the bounds of human morality and law, preying on the weak. Yet, the film complicates this simple dichotomy of predator and prey by revealing the vulnerabilities of both the monstrous and the human. Orlok's immortality is not a gift, but a curse, a reminder that endless life comes with endless solitude. Meanwhile, the human characters, though fragile and mortal, find strength in their connections to one another and in their ability to fight not just for survival but for dignity and moral purpose. This adds an emotional depth to the narrative, making the battle between the characters and Orlok not just one of life and death, but of ideologies and the search for meaning in a world increasingly defined by fear and uncertainty. The film's treatment of horror, too, evolves beyond the traditional tropes. While there are certainly moments of visceral terror, these moments are carefully constructed and balanced with psychological tension that lingers long after the scene has passed. Nosferatu 2024 avoids relying on gore or shock value to generate fear. Instead, It builds a sense of unease through atmosphere, subtle cues, and the slow unraveling of character motivations. The use of shadows, sound, and framing all contribute to the feeling of dread, turning even the smallest movement into a source of tension. It is a film that, much like the vampire at its center, creeps up on its audience, growing more unsettling the more time you spend with it. The themes of time, memory, and decay are also intricately woven into the fabric of Nosferatu 2024. The film constantly reminds the viewer of the inevitable passage of time, whether it's through the decaying landscapes, the aging of the characters, or Orlok's eternal yet tragic existence. Time becomes both a friend and an enemy, creating a paradox where the characters' attempts to resist fate and maintain their humanity only serve to highlight the futility of their efforts. In this way, the film mirrors the struggles of real life, where time seems to slip away uncontrollably and where mortality is both the greatest fear and the greatest truth we face. The persistence of the vampire in the face of this decay